Let's talk about the controller flight switches and the different modes that the controllers have. They're all a little bit different. They all have different functionality. You need to really figure out the drone you're flying, what it has and what it can do, and which switches you can pull. Let's start with the simplest ones. We've got a Mavic Mini first generation controller here. There are no switches at all, right? So you really can't do anything. No sport modes, no on the controller itself. You may be able to set things in the controller in DJI Go, but or Go 4, but nothing right on the switch. We've got a Mavic Air controller here. We've got a sport mode switch here. Right, so click it to the right. That light turns on. You know when you're in sport mode. Things move more quickly, right? You get more. Your controllers get a little more sensitive. The drone's going to fly faster. Your battery's going to get depleted more quickly. And that's something that, don't mess with sport mode until you're ready. So first time you flip it over, make sure you're in a big open space. Get used to it. You got to kind of recalibrate your muscle memory with your thumbs. But you've got to switch right on there for that. I've got a smart controller here. This is for a Mavic 2 Pro. What I use it for, you could use it for a lot of different drones, but the DJI smart controller with the high light screen so you can see it in the sun. Great controller if you aren't doing anything with Litchi or drone deploy or automatic things. You can't really load up software on this like you can with your phone or your iPad. But if I just want to go take pictures and video or just fly around, this thing is great. It's got a T, P, and S mode here. T is the tripod mode. So if you want it to be nice and steady and kind of dulled down and kind of help you get some smooth shots or just kind of hover real tightly, you hit the T for tripod mode. P is program mode. It's just your standard, flight. And S for sport mode, which we talked about. So on all three, GPS is enabled. So there is no ADDI mode. I've heard of people going in and using tinfoil and hacking in their software. I don't do any of that. I don't recommend any of that. Flyaways are becoming less and less common. The controls are better, the connection's better, so it's not as worrisome as it used to be. But in any event, so don't do that. But it's up. I don't know. I guess it's up to you. We've got a P4 Pro controller here. It's got a switch upper left. We've got P, S, and A on here. Right, flip those. P is program mode. If I'm using some sort of software that's going to take over the flight of the drone, like Drone Deploy or Litchi, that's where you get set that to P. S is it's a standard. I'm sorry. P is the program mode. S is standard mode, and A is ADDI mode. So ADDI mode is turns off the GPS. The GPS does a few things. The GPS holds your drone steady. Right? The GPS can figure out where that is. Works with the accelerometer and the compass, but it holds your drone steady. So if the wind is pushing your drone, it's gonna know that it's being pushed and it's gonna stay in one spot. So that's one function of the GPS. The other function of the GPS is it helps you find you where you are in relation to the home point, which it captures when it first takes off, so it can fly you back. So it says, I know I'm at point B, I'm going to fly to point A. When someone hits the return to home button, or I've lost connection with the controller, then that it will fly back automatically using its GPS location, and so that's the second. So GPS has a few things. It keeps the drone steady. It allows the drone to get back to where it needs to be. So the P4 Pros have this ADDI mode switch. You can turn that right off. Now you are flying fully on your own, just through the controller. The computer's not really doing anything. It's listening to you entirely, which can be good or bad. The vision sensing is off. You get near a tree, you better know what you're doing. So that's the ATTI mode. The Inspire drones also have this switch, right? So sort of more of your professional, more expensive drones will have that ATTI switch and allow you to do a little bit more. So you're not going to get that in the Airs and the Mavics, the Minis and the Mavics, but you start to ramp up and get to a, obviously we've got different size function controllers here. You can do a little bit more, and you have more ability to flip those switches. So that is that's your controller switches. And I guess the main takeaway is, and I've said this in other parts of this course, know your drone, right? Practice your drone, understand what you have. Think about it before you go and fly. Say, oh, okay, I'm flying a Mavic, Mavic Pro here, Pro 2 or something. Do I have ATTI mode? No, okay. What does that mean? How is that going to affect me if I get in an emergency situation and I need to start hitting buttons? Like, understand the functionality of what's going on. Is the GPS engaged? Can I turn it off? It's good procedure, right? Like, this isn't required by the FAA. They don't say, think about this and understand. I mean, this is just part of safe flight, flying within your limits, understanding what's going on and how everything works, and being able to deal with emergencies. So, while they don't specifically state it, I think that it's sort of implied. Know what you're doing. Practice this. Have some experience doing it. Know what the switches do. Know what your particular drone has. If you are lucky enough to have many drones, it can get confusing. If the drone you were flying yesterday, you're like, oh, wait a minute, I'm flying my Mini today. I can't do that. I don't have a sport mode. Or whatever it might be. Like, understand that, and you'll be good to go.